Elitist media deceives, but Faith and Freedom TV amplifies truth. Our world-leading platform delivers news, teachings, worship, movies, and music rooted in biblical values and constitutional patriotism, inspiring faith and liberty. We inspire, equip, and amplify Christian patriots to share powerful stories of faith, family, and freedom. With live events, thousands of on-demand videos, and access on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android, and iOS, we're transforming culture globally for God and country. New content is coming to ignite faith. Join our mission to counter deception.
You can't eat one Lay's potato chip, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yep.
Yeah. People licking their fingers and their brains craving more and more.
Yeah.
You never
because they designed it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. How many bags of broccoli can you eat?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully not many, right?
Too much fiber. You'd be like, oh, it's enough, right?
That's right.
Visit FaithNFreedom.tv and download the Faith and Freedom TV app today. Deception floods our airwaves, but Faith and Freedom TV fights back with truth. Our bold content, news, shows, Bible teachings, worship, and films shines with biblical conviction and patriotic courage, free from globalist lies. We empower Christian patriot creators to share faith and liberty. Access thousands of videos on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android, and iOS. Join the battle at FaithNFreedom.tv.
That created my body is the power that can heal my body. I'm like, look at it this way. Food is information. And then once I incorporated the diet, my whole life changed because I realized, wow, my body's changing quickly just by making some modest adjustments in the diet.
Hey everyone, this is Rob Renee with I Am Pain Free, and I'm excited to have this conversation. This is an amazing one. You're going to meet Jamie Dorley today, who is with Nutritional Frontiers and has an amazing organization, has a really great past, but the most important thing that I think that he's doing is really making not only America healthy again, but as their mission says, making the world healthy again. And it's probably not the exact word of the mission, but we'll get that from Jamie itself. But I love what he is trying to do with the world and really helping people with their health and their faith. So that's something I was very passionate thing about myself. But with that, Jamie, welcome.
Hey, Rob, great to see you again. And I appreciate the opportunity to be on your podcast. I Am Pain Free. What a cool theme and title for your podcast. And I love your mission, naturally and faithfully. As I've told people all the time, they says, oh, what's going on with you and all this God stuff? And so I've tried everything else. And the only thing that fills that hole, at least for me and my soul, is my faith in God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. So thanks so much for having me on. I'm super excited and so grateful that you invited me on to this podcast.
Yeah, this is going to be a blast because I think we're going to really educate a lot of people on things that are really important about their health. And you're already helping me with my health, so we can talk about that. But more importantly, I want to talk about you. This is about Jamie. You have an incredible past. So I would love, Jamie, if you don't mind, just giving our audience just an overview of what who you are and how'd you get to doing what you're doing today.
Yeah, incredible past, including ups and downs, right? I grew up in New York City and then moved to Long Island, which at the time was a country. My big brother's 5 years older, and we saw Pumping Iron when I was about 8, 9 years old, and that was it. He had the weights in the room, and I was hooked from a time of not even being double digits. Early bird.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And back then, you'd work out in the basement with your brother or a couple friends, and you get the magazines, and then you get into the protein shakes, which weren't quite as great as they are these days. I pretty much would do anything because I love to play football, wrestle, baseball, basketball, hockey, any sport. Back then, we weren't really allowed to hang out in the house too much. You would have to go outside and play. And most of it was pickup games, just with friends. And it could be from a little kid all the way up to the oldest kid in the neighborhood. And just a lot of fun growing up where I did and going to the beaches. And during college, I realized that what you eat determines your health and your results from working out. So I just thought people that were in shape, I was considered at the time, they used to call it husky or stocky or chubby. They wouldn't call you fat unless they didn't like you. But I was still pretty solid back then. I just wasn't real thin. And then once I incorporated the diet from Dr. Marcy Leeds, one of my first professors at the university, my whole life changed because I realized, wow, my body's changing quickly just by making some modest adjustments in the diet. And my dad grew up on a farm, and he always promoted eat real food. And he didn't have a science background.
Big advantage.
Yeah.
Over most of us, because I grew up just eating whatever was there, right?
Yeah, and I did a presentation years ago about don't make the diet too complicated, right? If you look at a tomato, it's red. You cut open, there's 4 chambers. It looks like the heart, and it's good for cardiovascular. If you look at a walnut and break it open, it looks like a brain, and we know nuts are brain food. If you look at, you go right down the list, right? Kidney beans, they're in the shape of your kidney. They're good for your kidneys. If you look at sweet potatoes, they look like the pancreas. They're much better for you for blood sugar. And the list goes on and on. So I always say don't make it too complicated. If there's no grocery stores open or fast foods, eat what God put on the planet.
Yeah, I am such an advocate for that right now. That's really, from my nutrition experience, I learned really similar like you did relatively early on of how important nutrition was to your health, because I was a runner. And my goal in life was to be a professional runner. And I really attribute my learning. I read the book called Eat to Win. And that book just taught me how to fuel my body as a runner. And it's something most of my friends and or competition, they're out eating hot dogs and Cheetos. And I'm eating really healthy. And it just helped me tremendously as a young athlete. And then I did what the world told me for decades and didn't do any of that. I had an accident with it that stopped my running. But what it led me back to this whole nutrition world was the pandemic. I'm like, oh my gosh, how can I help the world? How can I help my family survive this? And I'm like, I'm going to go back to my beginning. I'm going to go back to whatever God put on this earth is what we need to do from our nutrition. So anyway, I just wanted to make that quick segue as I'm totally in favor of what you said, because man, that is so honestly true, and we need to get people back to that, right?
Yeah, it's a journey. People say, oh, I'm getting older, it should decline. I don't feel that way. I think the hardest decade is the 30s if you have kids and a family, because you're through college, now you're settling into your career and family. That's where stress goes up, responsibilities go up, and the first thing to go out the window is the running, the gym, the biking, the yoga, right? People tend to sacrifice themselves. In fact, we were talking about Christine earlier. She was doing a training for me the other day, and it said, be there for yourself. Show up for yourself just as much as you show up for others. And it really hit home because we tend to sacrifice ourselves. And in the 90s, I worked in sports nutrition, which was great. I was doing the bodybuilding competitions and American College of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer. And I worked in that field for about 10 years and really loved helping people change their lives. And then for the last 25 years, I've been working with people like yourself, healthcare professionals, Dr. Jeffrey Bland, our team at Nutritional Frontiers. So the last 25 years working with healthcare professionals, really to take all the concepts I learned in the bodybuilding and training world and apply them to wellness and for healing of any type of condition. When I was a trainer, I helped a gentleman lose over 100 pounds and really helped him save his life. He was a heavy drinker. He'd come from family money, and he said, hey, I have too much free time and money on my hands, and all thing I've done is I've wasted it. And he said, I know you're the trainer because I know you actually demand a lot of people. And he says, I need you to save my life. That's a lot of responsibility for a 25-year-old guy, right? And I looked him dead in the eye. I said, do you really want this? He says, yes. I said, let's get to work. I really enjoy the journey of it. It doesn't mean it's always going to be easy. It's simple, never easy. And I listened to a podcast the other day. It was saying when you're young, you think things get easier when you get older. They don't. Life is not supposed to be easy. You talk about suffering in the Bible, right? It's okay. You're supposed to go through these trials and tribulations because there's supposed to be lessons to learn. And what I find is now, especially at this point in my life, I feel that you got to get mentally stronger with your faith and then physically stronger with the body and the mind has to be stronger, and that all leads to your soul being stronger. And the old days of just working out and eating good are not enough anymore, Rob.
No, it used to,
Those days
to
are
be
over.
good.
Yeah, we
Right.
live in a world of toxicity and nutritional deficiencies and stress and sedentary lifestyles. And you add in genetics, and those are the 5 really underlying causes that our company runs for, because they've been running for, you ever hear Run for the Cure, a sponsor the 10K race? They
Right.
haven't caught anything. And you're a runner. You would know this.
Exactly. You're going to be running for a really long time
Yeah.
if you're going to depend on them,
The only thing
right?
they caught is the money, right, from all the donations.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
they're really good at catching that.
we started Nutritional Frontiers 17 years ago. Me and Dr. James Weiner, rest in peace, Doc. He was an international icon. He goes all the way back to the Gerson Institute, Dr. Price and Pottinger, Hippocrates Health Center. And he was a pioneer not only in Pittsburgh, but throughout the U.S., putting on health conventions and education in 1970.
Wow.
Yeah. So Dr. Weiner was really an inspiration to all of our team, and his legacy continues. I'm actually sitting in the studio of his old wellness center, World of Wellness. And I really take a lot of pride in our commitment to our mission, which is simply making the world healthy. And then I add on at the end, one person at a time. And we want to do is we want to customize the lifestyle and address all the things you have control over. How many of you heard someone say, oh, I got autoimmune condition, the doctor says there's no cure?
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, if you took your car to a mechanic and he says, I can't fix your brakes, what would you do?
Exactly. Just say, oh, guess you can't fix them, right?
I go to someone else.
No, you go to the next guy. Yeah.
You can't.
Right.
Doesn't mean he can't.
Yeah.
Dr. Joe Dispenza, the power that created my body is the power that can heal my body. I don't know if Dr. Joe's story, but he was a biker, a triathlete, got hit on his bike, 8 crushed vertebrae, and they told me never walk again. And I got chills right now because me and Christine are going on a leadership training at the end of August around my birthday to see Dr. Joe and do his retreat on the beach. I just tell people you got to be open to what's possible. Yeah. Don't limit yourself, right? We see many examples of this. I know you're going to get 100% recovery from your challenges right now. I've been told before, hey, you're in trouble physically. You may not make it through the current situation. And I pulled through, and here I am, healthier than I was approaching 57 than I was at 37. So I think when you have that faith restored, you have the proper lifestyle. And have you ever been called a health nut?
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, exactly. It's like they try to put you down, right?
Yeah. So I tell them, this is not a punishment. I choose this. Just like you choose to be a sick nut. That's what I call them, sick nuts.
Exactly. Yeah. Or an unhealthy nut, right?
And in this day of technology and education, ignorance is a choice. There's no shortage of qualified people out there. We have a whole team of Nutritional Frontiers. We have 12 brand ambassadors. These are healthcare professionals. We have MD, DO, pharmacy, naturopath, chiropractor, RD, personal trainers, PAs, NPs, you name it, we have it on our team. A nice variety because they all practice a little differently and they all have a different focus, but fundamentally they have the same philosophy, right? Which is to really focus on lifestyle and then customize the program for that person depending on what their goals are and their current health challenges. I think that's why a lot of these programs out there that I call them like cookie cutter or fads, they're more marketing and more about just the money. We have 2 objectives, really, to get better patient results and then a better value for the healthcare professional and the patient. So we really take a lot of pride in that. And after 17 years, it's been really exciting, all the relationships we built and all the people we helped. And one of the biggest blessings is the people I get to work with. We have Phil in the studio helping me. My son, Zach's a biochemist, and he's been with us about 7 years. And you mentioned Christine Genovese, our chief growth officer. We have some great people on the team. And when you get the whole team pulling in the same direction, that's when you can move mountains. And you mentioned the word earlier about miracles. After a while, they don't seem like miracles anymore because we've seen them. But for somebody who hasn't had the experience, I think that's the biggest challenge that they have. They have to be open-minded. I was messaging our team today about faith. I says, faith is when you can see it, even though it's not there. So when it is there, you can recognize it.
There you go.
So
That's
we're on the
fantastic.
mission. We work with healthcare professionals throughout the world and patients. So if you're interested, you can go to nutritionalfrontiers.com. Check out our website. We have a tremendous library of free video and education. And we take a lot of pride in our relationship, even with new people that aren't familiar with us and aren't even a customer. I don't care. I'm always trying to help people out. And I think when you trust God and help others and clean out your own house, you're halfway there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Just the mission that you are on is an amazing one, right? Making the world healthy one person at a time is it's so perfect because everybody's challenges are different. Everybody's excuse me, backgrounds are different, right? And then their environment is different. And I'm so frustrated with our world today. Excuse me, in the respect that our air is compromised, our water's compromised, our food is compromised. 70% of our food is ultra processed food. It's just pathetic but everybody is different, right? Everybody eats differently. And so their body at the current state it's not the same as the next person. So if you don't customize it, then you're just trying to throw the truck at something and hoping it helps, but you guys don't do that. So
no, and you got to ask people why, right? You ever hear someone say, "Oh, my Doritos" or "my soda," right? It's because if you see, this food is very highly addictive. In fact,
and do you know the story about how that happened? Have you heard that?
I have, but I'd like to hear your version.
Okay, I'd love to
companies, or
Yeah, I love to educate people on this because it's so important that these scientists used to work in the tobacco industry and they moved to the food industry and they did the exact same things. How do we make this food more addictive so that we can sell more of these products? And it's not healthy. So anyway, that's just a really short version.
Yeah, it goes back even further. You want to go way back. I wasn't around, but in the 30s and 40s, you had people like, I'm in Pittsburgh right now. Andrew Carnegie, the steel mogul, was from Pittsburgh. And we're actually in Carnegie, the town right here. They call it Carnegie here, but you get the idea.
Okay, Carnegie. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So him and Rockefeller were trying to figure out what did they do with their money, right? So what did they do? They said, "Oh, let's back the petroleum-based medications." That's okay. You may need medications at times. I'm not against medication. However, what they did is they discredited all of the conventional therapies, which were natural healing. You know, if you go look at our supplement line, we have something called 7 Flowers. This is the first supplement in the world. Over 1,000 years ago, it was made in China. 7 Flowers is loosely translated from 7 blue herbs to calm blood pressure, eye pressure, and stress. But when I grew up in the 70s, we played outside a lot. So it was very common for me to get splinters or cuts or scrapes or sunburn or bruises. So we had aloe plants in the house. You break it open, squeeze the gel out, and you put that on any kind of burn or scrape. Even sunburn would work really good. You know, for splinters and those type of things, we had black salve. It was very common to have it in the house. You look at, if you had an earache, they would boil oil and put a cotton ball in your ear, and that the oil would clear out any congestion in the ear. I still use Vicks Vapor Rub. People are like, "What are you doing? You smell." I'm like, my voice is dry. I'm getting a little hoarse, so I use Vicks Vapor Rub. It goes on and on, all the home remedies that in one generation, Rob, were completely wiped out. And so this goes to not only the tobacco companies and these food biochemists that are making the addictive junk. It's not food either. It's junk or food. And this is all junk products, processed things. And it's highly addictive. They've, in fact, on Food Inc., a documentary a few years back, they showed where they give the rats either high fructose corn syrup or cocaine, right? One of the most addictive drugs out there. And what they found is the rats will actually go after the high fructose corn syrup, right?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And then you think about it a little more, and they says, okay, what if we give them the high fructose corn syrup, but each time they go for it, we give them a little zap, a little electrical charge. And what they found is they would eat the sugar until they were cooking on the inside. And then if you think about the average American, or some Americans that are 250, 300 pounds, they are inflamed. The high fructose corn syrup is inflaming their body to where they're so swollen. And we were talking about fatigue earlier with your guy in the studio, and it was like, man, you hear about people being fatigued. I says, are you physically fatigued or mentally? Oh, never thought of it, right? I says, you can't be physically fatigued. You don't do anything. How tired can you be? They're not getting the nutrients inside the cell because there is no nutrients. It's just empty calories. So the blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up, fat storage goes up, cravings go up, energy goes down, production goes down, sexual function goes down, strength goes down, mood goes up and down, and it's a recipe for disaster. So one of the things that we like to do at Nutritional Frontiers, and me personally, we have a club. Are you in the Shake a Day Club?
No, need to learn about the Shake a Day Club.
Tell you about the Shake a Day Club.
I do drink a shake a day, but it's
what kind of shake do you like?
Actually, I'm on a regime right now where I mix part of my juice that I do every day. So I juice every day, but then I also I mix all of my supplements in the morning, the ones that I take in the morning. I mix all those together with my juice that's my shake, is that. Oh, and I actually am using your Power Fuel.
Oh, there we go.
As part of it. And I do greens and I do reds and I do a bunch of my medicine that I'm doing. As part of my protocol that I'm doing to get well. So I'm going to beat this monster that I'm working on. And I'm super excited to get clear of what I'm doing so I can go teach the world how to do what I did, right? I want to really make a big impact on the world by getting well. So
you are doing it. You always lead by example. That's what real leaders do, and you're doing it. And I'm having a great time on the podcast, and it's a pleasure to be here today. And people are like, why do you do a shake? I'm like, look at it this way. Food is information, okay? I just described what happens when you give your body high fructose corn syrup. What happens when you give your body a Mediterranean-style meal where it's balanced with higher protein, fiber, good fats, and low starch and no sugar? What happens is now you have a modest increase in blood sugar, a modest increase in insulin's job, folks, is to get your nutrients inside the cell to the mitochondria, otherwise known as the blast furnace, to be able to be burned for energy. It's a powerhouse of the cell. Power Fuel has the nutrients to drive into the cell. So it has things like ribose, right? That's an ATP converter. You have electrolytes in there, so it can balance the sodium, chloride, and potassium link inside the cell, right? Getting into the Krebs cycle. It balances all the minerals out. Then we have things to improve circulation like arginine and beet powder and citrulline. Then you have things for ATP like CoQ10, the L-carnitine, DMG. So it's a complete formulation to give your body nutrients that really feed your muscle. And not only your muscle, think about it, what organs really burn the most energy? The brain burns almost 30% of your energy.
Wow.
So if you're depressed, if you're anxious, your brain doesn't have the fuel source it needs. I had a patient come in recently. He was a referral to the wellness center. I don't really see consults anymore, but it was a friend of a friend. The guy's 360 pounds, nicest guy in the world. And I said to him, other than water, what do you drink? Soda, iced tea? He goes, yeah. I go, do you put soda in your truck, in the gas tank? He says, no. I says, why not? He goes, it would ruin it. I go, and he goes, oh, yeah. Right? So
that's pretty good.
What we want to do is give the body a shake a day, the first meal of the day, because it sets the stage of the sequence of events hormonally, right? Postprandial, after the meal. That is the key. If you have sugar for breakfast, even fruit and juice, it's too much sugar. You need balance. So I'm an advocate of a little bit higher protein, depending on your muscle content and your activity. Moderate fats, good fiber, and then fibrous carbs. I don't do any sugars or try not to. I recommend people limit those as much as possible, because what happens is it triggers the brain. Once you start eating that, you crave it. Remember the commercial? You can't eat one Lay's potato chip, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yep.
Yeah. People licking their fingers and their brains craving more and more.
Yeah.
You never,
because they designed it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. How many bags of broccoli can you eat?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully not many,
Nah,
right?
too much fiber. You'd be like, oh, it's enough, right?
That's right.
So the shake a
That's
day, we
right.
have different options. We have whey protein, we have vegan, we have the meal replacement, we have the hydro beef, we have keto. We have a variety of different ones. So we use the protein shakes as a base, and then like you do, we add in our greens. So one of my
Nice.
favorite, the most popular candy is Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Yeah.
So what I do is I make the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup shake I just had this morning. I use our Super Shake peanut butter, 0 sugar, has 20 grams of
nice.
protein, fiber, MCT oil, which is great fats. And then I put the chocolate greens in. And we fortify our
nice.
greens. So these has things like amodium, which is a patented glutathione. It has vitacholine. It has non-corn, non-GMO vitamin C. It has dimethylglycine, active folic acid called quadrifolate. It has spirulina, chlorella, prebiotic, probiotic enzymes. You get the idea. It's not just a greens powder. And not only that, it's the #1 flavored and tasting greens in the world. So you take the base of the Super Shake, put the greens in it, boom, I'm ready to go. I had one this morning.
So should I be doing that green instead of my AG1 that I was doing?
If you want the best, you would. We actually did a comparison.
Elitist media deceives, but Faith and Freedom TV amplifies truth. Our world-leading platform delivers news, teachings, worship, movies, and music rooted in biblical values and constitutional patriotism, inspiring faith and liberty. We inspire, equip, and amplify Christian patriots to share powerful stories of faith, family, and freedom. With live events, thousands of on-demand videos, and access on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android, and iOS, we're transforming culture globally for God and country. New content is coming to ignite faith. Join our mission to counter deception. Visit FaithNFreedom.tv and download the Faith and Freedom TV app today.
You know,
Did you?
Yes, we did. Yeah. And
I like it.
because ours is
So tell me about
fortified
the
with extra
comparison.
nutrients, right?
So say that again. Let's compare AG1 with your greens. Tell me the difference.
We have all the greens powders in here, which they do too. We have prebiotic, probiotic, and enzymes. And then we have the specialty innovative ingredients, such as what? Amodium, a patented research trademark glutathione, the master antioxidant in the liver. It's the most bioavailable glutathione on the planet orally. Number 2 is DMG, dimethylglycine, otherwise known as darn mighty good. That has 3 U.S. patents, including melanoma, RA, and OA. We add non-corn, non-GMO vitamin C. Most vitamin C on the market is from corn. Yeah. So we don't use a corn-based vitamin C. We have the spirulina, the chlorella. These are both chelators. No other greens on the market has all those innovative ingredients. They'll have the prebiotic, the probiotic, the spell, the spinach, the broccoli, all those things, spirulina, chlorella. They don't have the innovative ingredients like I just mentioned. So what we want to do is drink our nutrients as much as possible. And that way, when you do this shake a day, your blood sugar is balanced. Now what you did is you shifted from storing fat to burning fat. How do you feel mentally when your body's burning fat?
Yeah, good.
Well, great.
Right?
Your cravings are almost eliminated. I'm not hungry right now. I got great energy, great mood, problem solving, podcast, got financial meetings. I got all kinds of things going on. But I don't get tired during the day. And if I do, it's probably because I got up early. I usually get up around 4 to 5 a.m. But I'm not crashing. Most people's blood sugar's up and down at 3 o'clock, they crash. And then they have a cortisol spike at night, and they're stressed and wired. You hear someone say, I can't sleep. I fall asleep, and I wake up every hour or two. That's because they're having cortisol spikes. So you can prevent that. You start to shake a day. Now, it's cool. We have the powders like the Power Fuel, right? So if you want more energy without stimulants, you scoop the Power Fuel in. If you want GI support, you do the GI Complete. If you want joint support, you can put the HA Plus. That's why we want to do shake a day, so you can customize the shakes, get your nutrients in, and over time, you may be able to pull some of those things out and then stay with your base. So right now, I do the chocolate peanut butter cup, and then my second shake a day is where I do Fruity Pebbles.
I know it's not the real Fruity Pebbles.
It's a new one now, because I used to
I
like
know you
Fruity
well enough to
Pebbles
know
as a
that.
chubby kid watching cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the
Fruity Pebbles
best.
with-
They're amazing.
Addicting, right? It's all the
They're
colors.
totally
and
addicting.
sugar
Yeah, I
and
could eat the
dyes
whole
and
box.
everything.
When you open the box, they only have a third of it in there. That's the thing that it used to piss me
Yeah.
off.
My dad would say it's not a single serving to my brother. Yeah.
That's right.
But I do the Fruity Pebbles, so it's vanilla super shake with our raspberry GI Complete, and I do super creatine in right there. So that helps me with my intestinal tract, calm it down. And the super creatine has glutamine and